Hello, this is Robert M. Ross. I'm a licensed professional counselor here in the state of Pennsylvania, and I'd like to welcome you back to my channel, which is called The Common Sense Lifestyle. And why The Common Sense Lifestyle? Well, I try to take some psychological concepts, some ideas, distill them down into little digestible chunks of information that you can use to improve your own life. So before we begin, just like I do with every video, I'm not your therapist. This is not a therapy session. Nothing in any of my videos can be construed as mental health treatment, nor are they designed to diagnose or treat any kind of mental disorder. If you do need mental health treatment, I would encourage you to call your insurance company, find out who's in network in your area. You can also talk or consult with Psychology Today's website. They have a very nice Find a Therapist function where you can search on different things like the insurance that you have, the conditions that you seek to treat, any specialties that you're looking for. So that being said, something that comes up a great deal in my office is how to deal with mistakes. And let's face it, we're all human. We make mistakes. We screw up. We do things we shouldn't do. We don't do things we should do. And that causes a lot of problems, obviously. But where I see this a great deal comes with relationships. I have guys in my office that, they're either going through a bad relationship or they've been through a bad breakup or a divorce or something of that nature, and that has really left them devastated. Sometimes they screwed up, other times the other people screwed up, but to be perfectly honest, most of the time both people in a failed relationship screw up. Even if your biggest mistake was getting into a relationship you knew you shouldn't have been in the first place. And let me emphasize that. A common mistake that men make is they see what they want to see rather than what is. And they ignore red flags. And a lot of my videos are about red flags. You can consult almost any of them and find out a little bit more about red flags. But when you miss red flags, when you see what you want to see rather than what is, you risk getting into a relationship that you don't need to be in, that you should not be in. Maybe your mistake is getting with someone for you or for them, your plan Z, because first guy didn't work out, second guy didn't work out, third guy didn't work out, so she's settling for you. And guess what? If any of those other guys come calling, she's gone. That happens all the time. Girls go back to their exes on frequent basis. It happens. If you're dating someone who has children and their children are their first priority and you're kind of like there to be an ATM, and I've seen that happen to guys. Not every person does this, but a lot of them do. And they overlook the red flags, they overlook the warning signs, and they get into a relationship with someone who only sees them as a resource. And if the resources are disrupted for any way or they go away, that person is discarded like an empty beer can being thrown over your shoulder. Sorry to sound a little bit dramatic with that, but I've seen it happen. So, let's say you got into one of these relationships. Let's say you made some mistakes. You overlooked things that you should have never overlooked. There was a sea of red flags and you ignored them all because you wanted something. You wanted companionship, you wanted love, you wanted affection, you wanted sex, whatever it was. And it blew up in your face. A lot of guys get despondent. They beat themselves up. They kick themselves endlessly. And at first, it's understandable. You're going to say, why was I so stupid? Why didn't I see that? Why didn't I have some sense in my head? And, if you were operating on your feelings and not your brain, guess what? You're going to make those kinds of mistakes. So what do you do with that? How do you get past it? How do you get over it? And that's really what the video is about today. So how do you get over this mistake you made? You got into a relationship you never should have been in. You ignored all the red flags. You got burnt. And, maybe you deserve to get burnt. Fate's a great teacher. Pain is a great teacher. So what do you do with that? Well, first thing is you're going to feel bad. You're going to grieve the relationship. You're going to grieve what you thought the relationship was going to be. Remember that. That's very important. It's an important differentiation to make. A lot of guys start dating a woman and they fall in love with what they think the woman is rather than what she really is. And when it's exposed that she's a human being just like the rest of us, and she's not perfect, and she's not wonderful, and she's not this, and she's not that, the guy feels burnt. He feels like he's been cheated. And in reality, The only thing that he cheated himself. He cheated himself by not having an accurate representation of the person. And that's a lesson to learn there. That you have to learn that people are people. We're all flawed human beings wandering around on this earth trying to make the best of it. At least most of us are trying to make the best of it. And sometimes we bump into each other and it doesn't work. And that's okay. So if you made a mistake, if you overlooked the red flags, if you didn't do the things you should have done to investigate someone, I don't mean spy on them, but just keep your eyes open and watch for warning signs, and you got into a relationship anyway and you got burnt, what can you learn from this? What is the lesson in this? One of the two, I call them, public enemies that we do to ourselves is we either worry ourselves about things we can't control in the future, or we needlessly beat ourselves up over our pasts. And while it's important to learn the lesson from your past, and that's important, you can't continue to beat yourself up for the rest of your life over it either. You can't get despondent, you can't go into despair, you can't get into bitterness, any of those adjectives. Don't get into any of that. Become a better person. How do you become a better person? You learn from your mistake. What did I overlook? What did I miss? What did I kind of not do what I should have done, or what didn't I do that I should have done? Where did you go wrong? Where did things go off the rails? You learn those things. You kind of put those things in your head, and you adapt your behavior and your thought processes to be more accurate in your future dealings with people. If you notice that you got into a relationship and person did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that were red flags that you chose to ignore because you wanted her to be something she wasn't, or you thought you could love her enough. I hate that cliche, I kind of half cringe when I say it, but if you thought you could love her enough and she was going to be all better and everything was going to be great and ducky and peachy, that's an inaccurate view of the world. That's not how humanity works. Not. It's completely false. So you learn, oh, when I see this, or when I see that, when I see this kind of behavior or that kind of behavior, or when their family talks about her this way, or, her family acts that way, or she was raised in a bad way, I should not deal with people like that. I should learn to avoid those things. When you learn the lessons from the experience, congratulations, you're now a better person. You know more. You're wiser now. Now, you still may make other mistakes because, again, we're flawed human beings and that's, we make mistakes. But if you learn, you become wiser, you become better, you become a better person, smarter, faster, quicker. And that's what you need to do. You need to learn the lessons that you need to learn from whatever experience you had. Take those lessons into your future, and then you can leave the mistake in the past where it belongs. You can look back at it and say, like I like to say with a lot of my videos, that's when my life changed. That's when I learned something. That's when I became better. Let your adversity be your refinery. Let that be where the junk gets burned off, where, iron sharpens iron, where you learn to get with your friends and you learn from each other and you kind of beat the impurities out of each other. You learn, you grow, you move on, you become better. Myself, just like most guys, I've had some bad relationships under my belt. And I gotta be honest, if I ever ran into those exes, I would probably thank them for teaching me a valuable lesson. I bear no ill will towards any of them. I don't bear any hate. I don't bear resentment. I don't have time for that. I'm busy moving on with my life and making my life better. I don't have time to dwell on the mistakes I made in the past. And each and every one of those relationships that were bad for me were mistakes that I made. Yes, they did not great things to me. Yes, maybe they lied, maybe they, whatever. It's not important. But the fact of the matter is I overlooked in each and every one of those situations red flags. I overlooked things that had I not, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have gone through what I went through. And that's true for most guys. Learn from your mistakes. Become a better person. Leave the mistakes in the past and take the lessons into your future and be the best you can be. It's a very simple concept. It's hard to go through when you're kind of like heartbroken. It's kind of hard to go through when you find out someone's cheated on you or they only viewed you as a resource, or, you know, you get the line, I'm not in love, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. When you get those kinds of things, when girls' night out turns into girls' nights out and she's cheating, all those things. Anytime those things happen, you have to realize that you probably overlooked something. And most guys will admit that they had. You know, they cheated with another guy, or they did this or they did that, and they overlooked it because they wanted what they thought they saw rather than what was. So guys, to wrap it up, just to show, learn from your mistakes. Take a look at what you did. Did you overlook things? Did you miss red flags? Did you get into a relationship you shouldn't have been in, with a person you shouldn't have been in a relationship with? Integrate those lessons into your life. Learn from your mistakes. Take the mistake and leave it in your past. Take the lessons and apply it to the rest of your life and become a wiser, better, smarter guy. Again, it's always about being the best version, edition, whatever, of yourself that you can possibly be at any given time. And every time you make a mistake, you learn. That's what you do. You learn. You don't wallow in self-pity. You don't go the dark side. You don't go like bitterness, resentment, all that crap. You learn, you move on, you become better. And quite frankly, guys, it's a saying that goes around out there, the best revenge is a life well lived. Don't spend a second dwelling on your past relationships. Don't spend a second of your time, your valuable time that you can be used to improve you, worrying about what other people are doing, especially people from your past who hurt you. Leave them behind, work on you. As I do with all my videos, guys, I want to talk to you briefly about suicide. If you or any of your friends or family members are expressing suicidal thoughts, anything of that nature, please use the suicide prevention hotline that I'm going to put down in the description below. Suicide is almost always a long-term solution to a short-term problem. Things almost always get better. And as I'm kind of indicating in this video, this can be that moment that shakes you up so much that you learn a valuable lesson that you need to learn. A valuable lesson that will not only help you get through the thing that you went through, but also improve the rest of your life. I want you to be able to look back in 5 years and say, this is the moment when my life changed. This is when I started to get better. This was the thing that shook me up so much that I really went at life and became a success. So guys, have a great day. Hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell so you'll be notified when I put out more videos. Please feel free to leave comments in the section below. Have a great day.